Hello everyone, my name is Josh Butterfield. I'm running for Sheriff of Camden County here at beautiful Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. So I guess I'm letting everybody know today that I plan to temporarily resign from the sheriff's race. Now you might ask yourself, why temporarily and what am I even talking about? Most that have been keeping up probably wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing as well. So I want to just kind of break it down for everybody. And my thoughts behind what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I want to start out by saying that one of my main goals in all of this has been to get everybody to sit down, all the other sheriff candidates to sit down and have a discussion openly. Even when COVID hit, I wanted people from opposite sides to be able to sit down and logically discuss solutions instead of just fighting all the time. We can let logic dictate and just peacefully work out the best solutions. And I think that if our sheriff's candidates, or any candidates for that matter, just sat down and worked together and threw out ideas and showed the community their perspectives, the community could see much better on what the candidates believe and who has the best ideas and where they stand. And it's all around good ideas. So what I've done is I've reached out to the other sheriff candidates and tried to get them to come and have a sit-down open discussion. And that was one of the main goals for me running in all of this. Brian Butts and Phil Cannon are the only two that have committed and said for sure they will do it, and I cannot tell them how much I appreciate their courage and their integrity to step out and do this. It takes a lot to be able to come together with your opposing side and work together for the community and put yourself out there. I feel that the guys that are showing up to this are definitely have the most integrity. That's just my personal opinion. I've reached out to all the sheriff's candidates, and they all at one point told me they would. But when it came down to me getting a date and all this, a lot of them have said, you know, their schedules are busy or whatever. But I don't think they really necessarily want to be a part of it. It's just discouraging because I think it would be a great thing for the community. But either way, the three of us are going to have it, and I more than welcome every other candidate to please show up. I knew I could never win from the start. I was just doing it to try and get my ideas and solutions out there. Everybody complains, but nobody ever works for a solution, and that's literally all I'm doing with my life, is figuring out solutions and then trying to put them into effect and going out into the community and being the change I want to see and putting myself out there instead of just being a hypocrite and saying, well, these guys need to do that. I'm stepping forward and just going into an absolute losing situation when I know I can't even win in no possible way. And so I'm just getting the worst part of all of this, you know. But it's okay. I think I'm hopefully trying to do something a little bit better. So since I can't win, part of this is me showing how important the primaries are. The primaries are basically how a lot of these elections are decided. Right now, there originally were 8 sheriff's candidates running, and only one of them will get the Republican nomination. And at that point, they're basically in. There's nobody else that's going to be running against them. So when you go to the election in November and you're like, well, how come there's only one guy and nobody else? It's because the primary was the chance to get your guy. And that's where the elections seem manipulated and turned the most, is because you never get in there. I was a Ron Paul supporter and saw how much they manipulated the system to control who they want on the outcome. And so it's really a difficult task to try and set things right, but it could be done locally at the end of it all. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is just have an open discussion of solutions within the community. And I've set up a forum and I've set up a place to do it. It's going to be at the Ozarks Board of Realtors Building, 123 Odo Drive, July 29th at 6 p.m. And we will be there and we will have an open discussion for the community. I'm going to be getting questions from the community about problems that they have with the sheriff's office or in the community that they'd like us to talk about, discuss, and work for solutions. I'm also asking each candidate, this forum's a little different than most. I'm asking each candidate to bring 4 problems and solutions for the problems that they're bringing, and just where we sit down and talk about the best solutions and our perspectives for each one, and hopefully we can figure out the best answers for the community and also show everybody a little bit more how we feel. So like I said, I can't legally win, and one of these other guys is going to be your sheriff no matter what. Hopefully one of these two, or any one of these that have the courage to sit down and have an open discussion. Like I said, the other ones still can come and are more than invited, but they have not reached out to me yet. I do want to make it perfectly clear that I have reached out to all of these gentlemen multiple times. I originally talked to them at the sheriff debates, and they all originally said that they would do it and be down to have a sit-down discussion. Most recently, at the meet and greet, I did talk to all of them in person a couple of days ago and sent them messages to their campaign pages asking which date works best. All other candidates have not responded, except for Greg Sellers, who simply said he could not attend. I do appreciate the response, though. I also sent them a group email describing my plans for the forum setup and asked them for any input on how to make it better. I will include the email info I sent them in the description section to this video. I guess I should start with that I will be temporarily resigning from the race just long enough for the vote to happen. And like I said, the primary, whoever wins this is going to be our next sheriff. And I want to try and ensure that whoever the sheriff is the most liberty-minded and has the community's best interests and is willing to work for solutions and who will stand up to the federal government. Those are my most important things that I personally want to see done. And whoever's the most transparent in this meeting is the epitome of it. And so whoever at the end of the meeting I feel just has the best solutions and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and tip my campaign and say, please, I'm going to ask my supporters to please vote for this guy. It's not going to be set up for any of us. I'm going to have an unbiased moderator try and come in. I'm going to have questions from the community, and it's just going to be to where we openly discuss. No mud can be slung, no insults can be made. I have a way to where if insults are made, we get strikes. 3 strikes, you're out. I've got a whole forum set up to where we can openly, peacefully discuss solutions, and that's all I'm trying to do. I got a solution for a lot of different problems that the community and the world kind of face right now. So I'm just wanting to peacefully talk about it and get these ideas out here. So that's why I'm temporarily going to be postponing my campaign, and on that day I will be supporting someone else. Like I said, whoever shows up to that and gives the best solutions for the community. After that, the primary, whoever wins the primary will be sure to get the sheriff's ticket. They will be the new sheriff. They just won't be official until November. This is a Republican-run community, and no one usually runs for the Democratic Party. But at that point, I'm going to gain my campaign back again, and I'm going to push harder than ever, because at that point, it's just a message to the government, the federal government. And it's not about winning. It never was about winning. It's about the message and about the ideas, and the ideas that we've had enough of the federal government. So I will pick my campaign back up after the election and still ask for people to vote through a write-in vote for me, because every vote for me is a vote to tell the bigger system, how we feel. And I think that that's a big thing, because if I was to win, I know I logically probably don't have a chance at all, but if I was to win, that would put us in a very unique scenario to where I can't legally win, but at the same time the people have stood up and had their voice be heard. Hopefully that would spread these ideas a little bit farther, and the idea of freedom. I'm just trying to put myself out there to be the change I want to see and not be a hypocrite. I can't just say all this stuff and then not put myself out there. So I'm putting myself out there, and I'm just trying to help the world, and that's the epitome of what I'm trying to do. Like I said, I have a bunch of ideas. You should check out my video for a justice box. It's a way to put a system of checks and balances for we the people and local government, and make it to where there can be no corruption or nepotism, or even it kind of overrides qualified immunity and makes it to where we're all on a level par. There's other solutions I have. Just you can go through and check out my YouTube video. There's a lot of solutions in there. I got them all numbered, and I try to keep track. But like I said, I do all kinds of videos, talk philosophy, release inventions, have funny stories in my life. And like I said, I'm just trying to help the world. So anybody that knows me or has been keeping up with the stuff I've been doing knows why I'm doing it. So you don't really necessarily have to hear this next part, but for those of you that don't know why I'm doing this and why I'm putting myself out there in such a manner, I'll take a quick second to kind of explain my motivation behind why I'm making these videos and putting myself out there and doing all this in the first place. So I had a little boy that passed away, and I promised him I'd do all I could to try and help the world. And at that point I looked around and I seen there was a lot of problems in the world and a lot of people fighting about it, but there's really nobody trying to find solutions. So I just stopped complaining about problems and I started looking for solutions to whatever the problem was. And just whatever the most logical answer was, I would try and strive for that and play it out to the end. I'm a chess player, so I'd just play every idea out and try to figure out the most common sense, logical solution to the problems that we face. And through that, I wrote a book and I came up with a lot of ideas, and I'm just trying to get those ideas out into the public and share these ideas for the community to try to make the community better. I feel hard times are on our doorstep and our federal government is making terrible decisions and they're headed for bad times. So I want to prep up the local community and try and help those I care about locally and in my life and my family, and just try and help the ones that I love in this community, because the more we can prep now, the better off we'll be. And within that involves giving the community the utmost power. So one of my ideas is to basically have the local community secede from the federal government. We can do what's called a home rule charter and pass out a petition and vote to secede from the government, in which case we create our own laws and our own ways of life and get things set right in our communities locally. The federal government's so out of control, there's no help that we could ever fix that, but we can fix our communities right here, right now. And so that's just what I'm trying to get at. That's the point of all this, is that we can't control that, and we have to step away from that and just do what we can right here where we're at. And through that involves not paying the IRS and keeping our money and investing it locally and making it flourish, because we could invest our money locally and make our communities 10 times what they are now. Basically trimming the fat of the federal government. And so I can't legally win a sheriff's race. In order to make all of this happen, you have to have a sheriff that will stand up for we the people. And if put in between a position of following federal government's laws or following we the people's will, I really want to know which side they're going to be on. That is essential to me in all of this. Will they follow the people's will locally, or will they follow the federal government's rules and bow to the federal government? And I think that there's going to be a very hard decision on our sheriff's doorstep in the very near future, where he will have to make scenarios and be in situations like this. And whether we want it or not, I mean, it's just beyond what we can do. So we need someone who will stand up for the people the best locally. And what I've done is I've created an idea to where we could have sheriff's candidates or any candidates sit down and openly discuss the best solutions for the community. And I think that's really what needs to happen, and that's why I've ran in all of this. I went and I paid $100 and I put my $100 in to run, knowing that I could not win in any way. I had to have a sheriff or a police officer's license. I had to pay my taxes, which I refused to do because I believe the taxation's theft and I won't be an accessory to the government's crimes. And I've drawn a personal line in the sand, so I know I can't win. All I've done is put myself out there to try and give the ideas to the community and to the world to try and help the world. That's the only reason I'm running, and trust me, it's caused me a lot of heartache and a lot of hard times. But I'm trying to do what I think is best for the world and just try and create peaceful solutions. I promised my boy I'd try and do the best I can for his brothers, and through that I think that we need to try and create peace in this world. And creating peace, I honestly believe, will be achieved by creating freedom, because we all just want the freedom to do our own thing and be left alone. And if communities could just decide their own ways locally, instead of having a broad government come in and force everybody to do something that they don't want to do while stealing from us and forcing us to pay for it, we'd have more control of everything and could make the communities the way we want and have freedom at the end of it all. So I think that's the answer. So it brings me full circle to where I'm at right now and how I've gotten to this point. So all I ever wanted in any of this was to be able to stand up and talk at the forums and be able to have open discussions with these sheriffs. Unfortunately, I was not invited to the debates. I have made videos where I personally went to the debates, recorded it, and posted my own responses, but I wasn't actually at the debates in person, allowed to dispute or allowed to rebuttal. I was there in person actually recording. I missed one, but anyways, what I've wanted to do is get the community a lot more involved. So I've made a documentary through all of this to try and help get the community more involved and more hands-on. And I want to take one final moment to just tell the Lake of the Ozarks Board of Realtors how much I appreciate them for giving me a chance to use their building and for being willing to open up their doors for an event like this to the community. That is absolutely amazing, and I can't thank them enough. I also want to sincerely thank both of the other sheriff candidates that have for sure said they would be coming, Brian Butts and Phil Cannon. You guys are absolutely just amazing and awesome, and I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate what you're doing. You guys have an immense amount of courage and integrity, and I gotta hand it to you guys. I really appreciate you being able to do this. And so I'll look forward to talking to everybody on July 29th, and I appreciate everybody following along. Thank you guys.